Learn to take responsibility. It defines you as a man. Masculinity requires responsibility taken. Real men don't shy from their responsibilities. First Corinthians 13 verse 11. Please, if you have it with you, I would like us to read together after the count of 2. Can we just try to do that? First Corinthians 13 verse 11. 1, 2, go. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I taught like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. Is that okay? I'm using the NIV version, so I'm going to read that again. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I taught like a child. I reasoned like a child. But when I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. And that is to prove that I've attained, or I put childish ways behind me. Is that correct? So there is something called childish ways. Help me touch your neighbor and say to the person, there's something called childish ways. Help me look at the person and tell the person, put away childish ways. Father, we ask for the blessing in Jesus' mighty name we pray. All right, please be seated. I started this morning in the first service by letting them know, and I want to let you also know, that one of the greatest mistakes we can ever make as individuals is to say that somebody qualifies to get married because the person is physically matured by virtue of age. Let me put it clear and straight. Physical maturity does not confer upon you the right to be married. In itself alone is no reason why you should be married. Number 2, we often let people think they qualify to be married because they are financially matured. By that I mean they have money. We are living in a day whereby young people are breaking into financial empowerment and financial success very early in their lives by virtue of the kind of courses that young people are studying, ICT, programming, coding, and the rest of that, which is going to cause a lot of young people to become financially wealthy at a very young age. Do you understand what I'm saying now? Now, if that be the case, the danger is for us to have a young person who graduated at the age of 19, 21, 22 and say, okay, because he has a good job, he qualifies essentially to be married. And we're beginning to see all of that happening. And what is the implication? The implication is what you are seeing in China. The divorce rate in China began to climb as the wealth margin began to close up. As young people began to make more money in China, divorce rates began to climb up. So much so that we began to have divorce rate moving to 1 million, 2 million, 4 million per annum. And what is the reason for that? When people get married because they are financially stable without consideration or recourse to other factors, then we are already putting in place a situation that will backfire right in our own face. So physical maturity does not necessarily confer upon an individual the right to be married. That you are 40 doesn't mean you have to be married. That you're 45 doesn't necessarily mean you're qualified to be married. That you have a good job doesn't mean you're qualified to be married. Number 3, spiritual maturity, which is one thing the church has done so wrongly. Sir, as I was growing up, which was my own, I had a challenge there too. I was barely 19, 20 when my pastor looked at me because of my spiritual success. I was ministering, I was preaching in places, signs and wonders were happening. And so the next thing you begin to hear from the church, when a young man is doing well spiritually, you start hearing statements like, you better marry so that nothing destroys your ministry. Have you heard that before? So before you know, young people are pressured into marriage at a very tender age because he has gifts, he is anointed, he has a great ministry, his ministry is blessing people. And so we say, hey, get married because of your spiritual maturity. Here's the point. Elijah can bring fire down. The saddest part is that he can't calm the raging storm in his own heart. How that a man can take control of witches and wizards but can't control his own temper. Moses at the peak of his performance as a minister of God, Moses came to a point whereby although he took the children of Israel through the wilderness, Moses remained a man whose emotional maturity remained in a state of infancy, even though spiritual maturity has moved to another level. What you grow grows, what you don't grow never grows. So a man can be physically matured, a man can be financially matured, a man can be spiritually matured, and yet the person may not be suitable for a marriage situation. Because marriage, as much as money is needed, marriage, as much as your spirituality is needed, marriage, as much as age is needed, marriage requires emotional stability. Marriage is a game of emotions. So when you have marriages contracted, which has been perpetuated across generation, and we recycle the same philosophy, because very soon, somebody's watching me now, very soon your son is going to graduate at the age of 25 or 21 and 19, and you're going to say, my son, now that you have graduated, the next thing to do is to get married. No. Let me make a very controversial statement, and I don't care about that. Listen to me. Some people are better off in their lives without being married. The worst thing that happened to some people was that they got married. Please, we may never tell you, laughter hides the silent cry. Only Jesus truly can tell. So many myths have been shattered lately. Oh, if you don't raise your children with a father, then you will not be able to raise them right. I've seen single women raise more healthier children than children with father who are present. Am I talking to somebody here? We need to start shattering some myths in the house of God. It's important for us to know so that we don't keep keeping people in bondage. Please don't hear what I am not saying. You live in the days of multiple translations. Because the saddest part of it is that I've realized that the people that are affected by a truth are even the one that reacts the most. For instance, some people are better off. Some people, it would have been better they were not married. When you make that statement, guess who will be the people that will be attacking first? The people whose marriages are the worst. They know it is them, the matter is pricking, so they will be the ones that will react the most. So Paul the apostle made a statement. He said, when I was a child, I talked as a child. When I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. But when I became a man, I put behind me childish ways. Let me look at someone around and tell the person, grow up. No, preach. Help me preach to the person. Tell the person, bros, grow up. Say, ma'am, grow up, grow up. Write this down. What is emotional immaturity? Before I tell you about what emotional maturity is, write this down. Emotional immaturity. So what I'm going to be speaking to you about today is maturity and immaturity in relationship. Because we're living in the days now where people are beating each other to death, right? Who is actually beating who? The man or the woman? Huh? Huh? The okay, there seems to be confusion. Now, which one? Sorry, ma'am. You said what? The women are beating the men too. Maybe it all depends on what part of the world you are living in. If you meet where a woman is beating a man, you will wish you're his elder sister. Praise God. All right, let's take this down. What is emotional immaturity? How do you know that you're an emotionally immature person? It is the tendency to react negatively or express your emotions. Emotional immaturity is the tendency to react negatively or express your emotions foolishly without restraint. It doesn't matter how physically matured you are. It doesn't matter how financially matured you are. If you express your emotions foolishly, without control, without recourse to common sense, without subjection to logic, without subjection to thinking, you just react. It is a practical demonstration and reflection of emotional immaturity. Number two, emotional immaturity is a self-centered emotional behavior that is usually out of control. A self-centered emotional behavior that is usually out of control. The worst part about this emotional behavior is that it is not usually relevant to the situation at hand. That's how to know an emotionally immature person. And I gave some example this morning. A man just simply looked at his wife, or a woman looked at her husband, and the person just simply say, "Are you my wife at all?" And the next thing, just hear somebody say, "You've said it. I'm leaving you. Shebi is divorce you want." No, you just did something, and I was wondering, the wife I married won't behave like this. So I was like, "Are you my wife at all? Is this my wife? Is this my husband?" And the next thing you take it into, "Shebi is divorce. I know you had divorce in your mind. Give me the paper, I will go." Complete a behavior that is not in any way correlated to the situation at hand. How many of you have seen people like that? That when they start behaving, you say, "What happened?" And you're like, "Is it this thing that has led to this one?" If you've seen people like that, raise your hands. It's a reflection of what, sir? It's a reflection of the fact that you are a nepios. Nepios, a baby, a child. Number three, write this down. Emotional immaturity is the inability to effectively communicate your negative emotions without over-dramatizing it. The inability to effectively communicate your negative emotions without over dramatizing it. So I gave an example of a woman who was not happy, and she carried their only wedding picture and broke it, tear it, and after that she was not, wait, oh, is there film? Unfortunately, it was a wedding picture they took when you normally do film. There's no film. So today they don't have a reference to their wedding. Why? A woman was angry. Ineffective ways of communicating negative emotions. I love what Dan Kiley said. He said, when a person consistently displays the same emotional, immature responses, you display that consistently. You display immature behaviors consistently, whether it's in a marriage or in a ministry or in a relationship for a long time. Dan Kiley said you have something called Peter Pan syndrome. You exhibit negative emotions consistently. You demand unreasonable attention from your spouse or your potential spouse. A man has no wings, and yet you place a demand on him to fly to space. A woman has no fins, and yet you demand of her to swim with the sharks. You make demands from your partner without a recourse to their potentials or their abilities. Immature people make demands from people that are unreasonable. Please, sweetheart, so that I can feel safe, call me every 20 minutes. So, getting married to you means I become a telephone operator, right? So emotionally immature people, they don't take blames. They reject blames, they shift blames, and they transfer blames. Put it the same way, they don't take blames. They reject it, they shift it, they transfer it. Because they personalize mistakes. They personalize errors. So when I make a mistake, to them, I am a mistake. They make promises and consistently they break them. They are extremely distrustful. You can't trust them. Very suspicious. See you hang around with somebody, who is that guy? See you talking to somebody, who did you just finish talking to? Very paranoid, controlling in nature. They are focusless and they are very spontaneous. Emotionally mature people, they are very focusless. I mean, they are highly focusless and very spontaneous. How do you know that you are in a relationship with a man that is immature? Should I start with the women or the men? I'm thinking of the women, right? Sorry, which men? The women. So that when time is gone, I will not have covered your case. I will start with the men. Are the women happy that I'm starting with the men? How do you know that you are married to a Nepios? How do you know that you are Mrs. Nepios? You said I do to a Nepios. With mustache, with beards, but he's a child. Woe to a land when their king is a child. So it's possible for a mature person physically to be a child. Number one, I can guarantee you something will happen. The men will shorten my time now. By the time I look now, it will be 6 minutes left. Because they don't want me to tell the truth. An emotionally immature man makes very stupid and foolish decisions with great consequence, sadly, not on himself alone, but on the family. That's how you know an emotionally immature man doesn't think through the consequences of decisions, only thinks about the benefits of decisions. An emotionally immature man is driven by the benefits of a decision, not the likely consequences that may come as a result of it. So somebody came to me recently, we were talking, and he said, Pastor, 40-something million naira was all put into Bet Niger. No, calm down. What is A? 40-something million pushed into Bet Niger. How much did it come back with, sir? Nothing. The wife said, Pastor, look at what this man has done. I said, is this the first time? She said, the last one was 20-something million. Foolish decisions without a recourse to the consequence on the people that you travel with. That's an emotionally immature person. High on the profit, low on the process. Thinking always about the benefit, never thinking about the consequence. This is how the Bible puts it's clear for a matured man. The Bible says, who amongst you want to build a house? The first sign of maturity is that you do what, sir? You sit down. What first? Sit down. Help me look at the man around and say, okay, sit down. You do what, sir? When you want to marry, the first thing you do is what, sir? When you want to travel, the first thing you do is what, sir? You want to build a house, or God, you what, sir? Help me touch the men around you and say, bro, sit down. Sit down first. Sit down. They are calling us, Pastor Daddy, they are calling us from London. Pastor Sam, I didn't know it is like this. Pastor Sam, all the money we left Nigeria with Nigeria, because in the United Kingdom, sir, in the United Kingdom, rent per month. How much is it per month? Depending on location. 1,000, 2,000. 3,000 pounds. How much is naira? How much is pounds? 7 what, ma? So 2,000 pounds is how many naira? 1 point what? When they were living, ma, the guy, UK, he was going with the mentality of Nigerian rent. And he said, we have money. How much is the total money left here with 10 million? School fees is included. Rent. So they are landing in the UK now, sir. People are giving call back home. Please, can we get support from home? I said, what happened? So I found myself in a ditch. I didn't know. Who is it that wants to build a house? What do you do first? Sit down. Emotionally immature people don't sit down. So we had always had a thinking, okay, maybe we like our son or children to go to somewhere to go and maybe go to that particular school. It's not about the wish where you want them to school. It's dangerous to send children to a place where you can't fund them. There are people who have sent children to Canada, to London, to America, and the kids are stranded. They can't pay their school fees. So guess what kids are into now? Many parents can't tell you that their children are into prostitution abroad because the parents can't sustain their bills anymore. Don't be like my friend Solomon Elili. I've been begging you for years. You remember Solo? They just opened the Olympic-sized swimming pool in Bauchi. that Olympic-sized swimming pool, Daddy, in Bauchi. They just opened it for professionals. And my school said, let's all go there. And we got to the place. We all stood. And we saw small children. They were just playing inside the water. Play. And because we came with some of our school girls, that Solo is a very tall guy. He's so tall, he's bent. So he's been trying to propose to some of these girls in our school. They are not accepting. So Solo now thought, well, this is where he will outshine all of us. So now I saw water. I saw children, they were just like playing inside. And then some of us, when you are brief, you are very cautious. Eh? Can we get a stone, tie a rope, drop it? You are dropping the stone. The length, when it starts collapsing, you know now it has hit the bottom. Pull that length out. When you notice you are drawing and it's beyond you. Not Solomon and Lily. Emotionally immature. He saw the girls. Susan Peter, Victoria, pretty girls. And because he has proposed, so he wants to show them he can swim. So all of us were by the edge. Everybody was careful. Solo said, what is it? What is it? What is it? And Solo went and took off his school uniform. Was only left with a small boxer pant or something. Took off his shirt. And he said, what is it? And he jumped. So we all started crying for divers. We didn't know they have a rule. The rule is never to help anybody that is drowning until the person is almost drowned. And he must prove it by no more struggling. So you have a long time to suffer. It's a rule. So they allowed him. He will die. They know when he will not die. He suffered. When they knew it was on, two of them dived in and they carried him out. I don't know if this is the right forum to declare the end. They brought him out. Before the girls he wanted to impress. The sad part was that they were watching his rescue. And as he was being rescued out, he was rescued without his boxer. Solo. Let me look at a man around there and say, bros, are you solo? The water took this boxer as an offering. The offering of stupidity. How many men have been stripped naked because of making decisions that you didn't think through? Because of building your house upon the sand instead of digging deep to find a rock to build on. How many men have gone with MMM? You've not recovered till now. You are still saying, Wake up you never know when you wake up in the night. Like something is pursuing you. My money don't go. It's gone. It's not coming back. Somebody say carry anointing oil to anoint your MMM platform. So that you come. Dry bones will live again. This one, gone. Stupidity. I've seen men, sir, because your children are attending that school. Yeah. So it's a status thing. If I know, it's, some men so foolishly, it's even your wife that will engineer you. Say, what is it? Are you not a man? Shall we not live inside this Guarimpa? Are we not living inside this Guarimpa together? Are we not in this transforming church together? Because the other pastor is also school. The other pastor is also place. The other, can't you see where they send their children to? It's only we are attending the school close to us. Are your children performing badly? In that school where your children are attending, low cost, but they are giving your child attention. They are watching, monitoring your child. The bad children who have been exposed to Europe are not in your children's school. Those who are exposed to pornography are not there. Those who know how to do cowgirl and cowboy, they are not there. The children in your children's school are children that when they come back home, there's no light in their house. So the only thing they do is the assignment. These are children of people that their parents keep telling them, hey, listen, shall you see the heat? You see the heat, Abi? You know, read, you go suffer like this inside this house. So those children are working hard like us. There are children like us who use candles to read. We were determined with Achibalbal. Anybody know Achibalbal? Atuba. Using it to read in the night because there's no light. If at all generator will be on, it's only on from 6 to 9. You've not finished your assignment, we put it off. So you are forced to read with speed. You carry your children from that kind of school where they pray for them, where the teacher knows them. You carry them to where is the children schooling? Oh, they are schooling in Lead British. And your children come up from Lead British, they are leading in immorality. And they put your children with children that come out from those schools, and those children beat your children down, hands down. Put your children that went to those kind of schools with children that went through where they went through rigors. Put them there. Emotionally, they are not comparable. Emotionally immature men, they do what others do. Emotionally mature men, they have a mind of their own. Can you sustain what you initiate? Will you take us halfway and sink? Men, we are killing ourselves. A woman said to me, say, Pastor, beg my husband. Sweetheart, I know they look for all this is where you did try to. Who are you trying to impress? And I hear that from women. Men are dying to impress only God knows who. A man met my wife outside this church. Somebody who worshipped here some times ago. Met my wife. He said, hey, that I hear that pastors, you and pastor, you people are living in FAB estate. That no, general overseas, with all this big church, you people should be living in Kusape, Sokoro, Baitama. And my wife said, thank you so very much, sir. Another woman come and say, sweetheart, confirmation none came. Come. I got confirmation this afternoon. We are not staying in this house anymore. On the contrary, I looked at my wife. I said, sweetheart, can we move? I saw a duplex here. Just one of the duplexes right across our church. It was vacant. So I said, sweetheart, can we just move so that we can be close to church? My wife said, thank you. I thought I was going to get good answer. My wife said, thank you so very much. She said, you can move into it. Me and the children will remain here. I said, what kind of answer is that? She said, I want to ask you a question. Is the duplex your own? She said, is the duplex your own? She said, you know what? Me and you, from this 3-bedroom flat, there's only one direction. Our own house. My friends were buying cars. Some of my friends, some of you know them. So it was like a click thing. This one I just bought Rovers. In the days of Rovers, just bought Rovers. Then I just bought, man, now what? And we were using Bluebird. It's not a car, it's a truck. Something like... Something that's like... it's like a bus and a car. You know, something like that together. Bus car. Sir? Okay, but so they call it Ark of Covenant. We dropped, I think it was you and Pastor Sean, we dropped one day. We dropped Pastor Sunday and Pastor Sean at Area 1. As we turned back with my wife, after church, as we turned back, rain started. The car stopped with Pastor Isaiah. So we pushed the car from Area 1 through Area 2. As we approaching UTC, you know you go down the slope. So the slope was waiting for us. And Mama was sitting. So Mama noticed we were stressing. Mama said, let me come. Out of pride. We said, no, sit inside. She said, look, Una they struggle. We couldn't push, so we had to leave the car there, sir. So my friends were buying Rovers. So buy this and buy that. I'm like, oh, bros, man. How happens if you push you to buy Rovers now? So one day I come over and say, sweetheart, see about this one. And my wife asked me one question that, you know, there are questions that people ask you, you will not resurrect again. My wife said to me, she said, are you going to be living inside the boot? I said, you don't even get good answer, Sha. At another time, my friends were moving to the same area. They call it pastor's quarters. In Garki, we're big boys. When I move with the big boys. What's that song, Seth? Ma? You want to bam bam? Got a chick with the big boy. Big with the big boy. Chick with you go see when. Chick with the big boy. So we said it was Garki, close to Garki Market. Beautiful flat. So Pastor, this one was ground floor. Reverend so was in the other place. Man of God was there. So there was one flat. They said, Sam, come and take. So that all of us, men of God. This is where. So I carried my wife. I said, let's go and check one place. We got to the place. As we got to the place, my wife looked at the place. And the men of God were there. So my wife was playing like she's in alignment. So you see, this is where your kitchen will be. You're like, yeah, you know. When we left the place, my wife said, I'm not following you here. I said, what happened? She said, no, you can go. But I'm not following you there. I said, what is it? She said, I've told you. From here, only one direction, our house. Am I talking to somebody? We were building, when we're doing our building project. Normally we go on vacation every July, August. Most of you know that. So this particular July, I said, everybody get ready, let's go on vacation. My kids were already excited. So I noticed that my wife, unlike her, she's not packing her bag. Normally 3 months ahead, 2 months ahead, the bags are ready. I noticed bags were not. I'm like, baby, are you not going for this vacation? She said, which one? I said, oh, July, August vacation. She said, we are building. I said, that doesn't mean anything. I said, we'll still go. She said, you know what? I have told the children already that their father is making a huge sacrifice. And that if they want to go on the vacation, he can still go ahead and make further sacrifice for them to go. But I have told them we are not going because we have a major focus. Let them learn discipline. So there was no vacation until we finished the building. Not because I could not have afforded it, but she was training them to keep the main thing the main thing. Emotionally immature men make foolish decisions with great consequences. They don't take, number two, write this down. They avoid to take responsibility for risk taken. They avoid to take responsibility for risk taken, mistakes made, and poor choices also made. How do you know you're with an emotionally mature man? Never takes responsibility. I'm wrong. I did wrong. Like, there's a case I'm dealing with right now. Just happened this morning. And I'm still going to be stretching on that case today. Just simply, I am wrong. I did wrong. Learn to take responsibility. It defines you as a man. Masculinity requires responsibility taken. Real men don't shy from their responsibilities. Early in the church, I taught about something called diversionary tactics. And one of the things diversionary tactics teaches you is to learn to evade taking responsibility on the account that somebody else did something that made you to do what you did. Responsible people take responsibility for actions they took, not minding what triggered the action. You don't make statements like, Pastor, the reason I slapped her was because she talked. No, you are responsible for slapping her. She's responsible for talking. You have another option. You should have chosen not to slap her. Thank you, guys. Okay. You should have chosen not to slap her. Is that okay? Emotionally immature men never apologize for their wrong decisions. Number 3. That's how you know an emotionally immature man. Never apologizes. Never. Will explain it, excuse it, but never accept it. Number 3. Emotionally immature men are insecure when you have people that love you around you. So what do? They isolate you. Emotionally immature people, they usually isolate you from friends and family members who truly love you, because isolation empowers them. When you are isolated from those you love, it empowers an emotionally immature man. Number what now? Number 5. Emotionally immature men lack sexual discipline. Anything that wears skirts, including a goat, is attractive. A man, 12 years old girl, ma. Yes! In Garki here, 12 years old. Wickedness in higher places. No emotion, no sexual discipline. Imagine how anointed Samson was. Carry gate. Spirit of God come on him. You see, that's the point. That's why many of us get confused. How can God be using him like that and he's doing this? Because the anointing is not equal character. God won't develop character for you. You develop that. In the early days of this church, because we attract a lot of young girls, young boys, some of the young girls, my wife and I will go and visit them in their houses. How are you? We just should come and visit you, pray with them, give them some stuff, go. At some point, we'll now later hear that same girl, maybe after she left Abuja, barely 1 month or 2 months later, she left Abuja, or 3 months, we hear that she went to another place, and boom, she has gotten pregnant. So you know what I told my wife? I said, see that girl that just got pregnant? I said, that could have been the mother of my baby if there was no maturity. Because if within 3 months she could move out and become pregnant outside, it meant that while she was here, if I was loose, I could have impregnated her. Sir, God has blessed us with beautiful girls in this church. From the beginning of the church, we have been blessed with beautiful, beautiful girls. They come in different shapes and shades. Only a blind pastor will not be aware of that. But sir, as they come, so they go. We will never take advantage of them. Never. Never. Not in the history of our church. Emotion. Listen, if you are going to lead and lead well, deal with your sexual desire. Everything in pants is not worth investigating. May you not see what will make you never to return from the journey you embark on. You are doubting me? Ask Samson. That was the last lap he slept on. He never slept on another one. I'm going for training. It's like everywhere you go for training, you donate yourself. You know, donate in Sokoto, donate everywhere you go for training. You must call prostitute into your room. Everywhere you go to, there's always somebody you call. Please let me look at the guys around you. Say, do you know anybody like that? Papa is talking about. Just look at a guy. Just say, do you know anybody like that? Emotionally immature men surrender themselves to their sexual desires. They are slaves of their own desires. And this is not to condemn, but to challenge you. Number 6, emotionally immature men are negatively influenced by family members and friends. Negatively. Any small thing. I just finished a meeting with my brothers. So, sweetheart, we need to talk. Every time you finish talking with your family members, we need to talk. You and your wife talk about you are heading towards this direction. After you talk with your family members, you change direction. Emotionally immature men are negatively influenced. Number 7, because of time. Emotionally immature men physically, sexually, financially, and verbally abuse their partners. It's a show of emotional immaturity for a man to sexually, physically, verbally abuse his partner. It's a show of immaturity. We'll close there because of time. Am I hearing men murmuring? Sir, what are you saying at the back? No, it's because of time. Time. You are here. You are not going anywhere. He said we are here. How to know you are in a relationship with an emotionally immature woman? What is the excitement about? Whoosh. Lord have mercy. Number 1. Oh, you were not writing before. It's now you want to write. Any man who is just writing, just close his book. If he has not written what concerns men, close his book. That's wickedness. That's how you go back home and say, the Bible says all women should submit. How about the one before? Number 1. How do you know that you are in relationship with an emotionally immature woman? Number 1, she is highly self-centered. Highly self-centered. She is the center of our worship. She is the center of and expect everybody else to do what, ma? To worship her. Thou shalt worship the Lord your God, and shall have no other God but her. Highly self-centered. Therefore, she will condemn and criticize you when things don't go her way. Once things are not going her way, she will condemn and criticize you. Number two, this is very strange. She hardly, or most of the times, never admits her wrongdoings. She would rather explain them away. What did you do wrong? Sweetheart, did you see what you just did wrong? No, now, you know, it was the sound of the rain. She hardly or never accepts her wrongdoings. Therefore, apologizing requires effort. She hardly apologizes. It's a show of emotional immaturity. Number three, she is forgetful and ungrateful, particularly under pressure. What that means is that whenever things are tough, she will forget all the good things you've done before. Does any man know what I'm talking about here? So I said, did any man know? Does any man know what I'm saying? I didn't say raise your hand. Which one are you raising here? I didn't ask you to raise your hand. The men are raising. Somehow, emotionally immature women have short span of memory for good things. A woman who is emotionally immature, how do you know her? A woman who has Peter Pan syndrome. How do you know her? When there is no money this month, or the money came late, Kai, what is going on? No, I don't know what's happening in this house. So it will start to come stock first. What, sweetheart, what's going on now? What's this, sweetheart? No, money. It's supposed to have come on the 15th. This is 20. Sweetheart, please bear with me. I don't know why they've not. Glory be to God. He the highest, amen. One day. Start hearing things like, I grew up in the barracks, sir. You start hearing her, she will call the children. Barrack life, she will call the children. Hello, Daniel. Come, make IP repair your uniform. Because only God knows when they go pay your father. Come, let me dress you very well. You are in the parlor. The husband is in the parlor. Come, let me dress your something. No, because only God knows whether it's next month again we'll be able to press this thing. Ingratitude, under pressure. I wish I can talk a lot on this. Number 4, an emotionally insecure woman is, please write this down, highly insecure. Highly insecure and aggressive towards high-flying women around you. If you have slaves, if you have house girls, you will see the madam in an emotionally immature girl. BC, Joke, Mariam. Her glory finds expression in the midst of mediocre women. But when she starts hearing Dr. So-and-so around you, Barrister so-and-so, emotionally immature women become highly insecure when women who are high flyers begin to surround their husband. Something kicks in. He may soon leave me for them. The next thing is she becomes aggressive towards them for no just cause. Hello, madam. Madam, so what are you looking for? So, madam, we've answered you now. She becomes aggressive. The woman has done nothing, but she's attacking them. I used to ask my wife, Apostle Goodah's wife, Pastor Tinu Asegeme, they will call my wife very early. They were like, Pastor Mary, are you normal? She was like, I don't understand. Then they will call me, say, Pastor, is your wife normal? I said, what's it? Say, with all these women around you, is your wife not? I said, no. Ever comfortable, never troubled. She's in a class all alone. She's her own competition. You get PhD, DHD, that you sabi what you carry. Maybe you go to sleep. But it didn't come that cheap, sir. Her security was strengthened by my discipline. So I have not given her a reason to become unsecure or insecure. Number what? I think that's the last one for the women. No, sir. How do you know the number I have? You say, no, sir. An emotionally immature woman, she turns differences. She turns differences when it comes to conflicts. She turns differences into combat. It's warfare. Just saying, sorry, sweetheart, I don't think we should go about it. You see? So why am I supposed to be talking? See, now I just shared my idea. You see, it's not that we're not doing what you said now. Doesn't mean that you're not making sense. Just that that's not what we should do now. It becomes combat. An emotionally immature woman turns differences in ideas into combat. Number 6. She is very, very high on nagging, but very low on communication. Nagging. What are you trying to say? Nothing. So why are you nagging? I also don't know. High on nagging. Let me give you one more now because of my time. Let me give you one more. This will shock you. An emotionally immature woman is also verbally abusive. Her mouth runs. Her mouth. I don't know if I should say this because of public. I should say, you don't even know what I want to say. Okay. Does anybody know something they call running stomach? That's how we call it here in Nigeria. What's the medical name for it? Diarrhea, right? No, but it will make sense if I'm. So in my primary school days in Kaduna, they took us to the Air Force base. We're going to watch jets perform. Pastor Sunday, on the field, you don't know where toilet was. My stomach started like, Lord have mercy. Sir, between where they were just coming. When you have a woman whose mouth has no pedal. What do you call it? Eh? You call it what? Oro. Talk. No break. A woman just got married. And the husband, I think there was some money was supposed, he couldn't provide the money. Barely few days into their marriage, she stood outside. And you know it was in Oshodi. It's a pastor friend. We warned him, but did not. He went for her. And the lady, 3 days into their wedding, I think he ran out of money or something, only God knows what. She came outside the compound. And she now said, my sister, she called her sister, Ngozika. I have entered the lion den. This is not a marriage, oh. This is a lion's den. And the next day she began, God will punish your father. God will punish your grandfather in the front of everybody. Mouth just running. 20 years after the marriage, she lost the marriage. Yes, ma'am. Emotionally immature women are psychologically abusive. See, there's a way woman can psychologically abuse you as a man. You almost want to hit your head on the wall. As a woman, never look at you to send you message to your father's house. A woman can finish you without speaking. She just... Baby, how do you normally look? Miss Dukes, there's a way a woman will look at you. And you feel like, God, let rapture take place. I'll be talking to you more. I had hope that I was going to be able to go into emotional maturity, how to know them, and how to know emotionally matured men, how to know emotionally matured women. But we are out of time. Yeah, I know you are not out of time, but I am out of time. Okay, so thank you so very much.
This is the Transforming Church International. One church making global impact.
Monday to Friday. You don't want to miss out on the prophetic prayer hour. God is taking us to another level in the realms of wonders, signs, and miracles. I'd like you to get yourself ready and your family members. Every day, Monday to Friday, we will be encountering the power of God for signs, for wonders, and miracles. Great things are bound to happen. It's your season of wonders without number.